Guys, it's your girl Paige back at it again with yet another video for you hoes. This is a part 2 of the secret world of OnlyFans. Now, I am going to preface this video by saying I've had to split this up into 2 sections because otherwise we would be looking at like a 2.5 hour video, and ain't nobody got time for that, and ain't nobody got time to be waiting for that much content. So with that being said, I'm going to split up the business and pitfalls of OnlyFans into the pitfalls of OnlyFans, which will be part 2, which is today's video, and the business of OnlyFans, which will be part 3, which will be the next video after this. So there is a hell of a lot to get into. This is a sponsored video, and today's video is sponsored by, you guessed it, Juvia's Place. Today I want to showcase to you these shade sticks. I have been using the Juvia's Place shade sticks in place of some of my most loved foundations. I feel like it gives me a really natural glow to the skin and also enables me to have full coverage without having to absolutely cake my face in makeup. Juvia's Place have sent me several of these different shades, and the reason that I like the complexion sticks so much is because the shade ranges are so vast and so minimal that even like when I have a slightly different skin tone, say because I've been tanning or even in this situation of being isolated, the tone and the colors are just so subtle that I can literally switch between colors so incredibly easy and constantly have the perfect blend to my skin tone. Today the color I'm wearing on my skin is color Cameroon, and the concealer that I use to blend this all in together is in shade 12. You can find Juvia's Place on various different platforms. You can go over to the Ulta website to purchase from there if you are in the United States. You can also purchase from the Juvia's Place website. There you can use code JUVIAS to get 10% off as well as free shipping. And if you're in the UK, you can go to beautybay.co.uk in order to get that fast shipping on all Juvia's Place products. Thank you so much to Juvia's Place for sponsoring today's video and allowing me to do content such as this. Your continued support is very, very much appreciated here on the Petty Paige channel. Thank you. Okay, so what makes people start an OnlyFans? Well, there are several reasons that people start OnlyFans. It's not a very easy decision, to say the least. And I don't believe that it's a decision that people should undertake without really thinking about the implications. You have friends, family, colleagues, and just society as a whole who may view you differently for choosing to go this route. It is no secret that there is still a lot of stigma attached to having an OnlyFans account. In fact, iDubbbz's girlfriend is suffering a hell of a lot of backlash now purely for having an OnlyFans account, but also for being a bit of an arsehole. I mean, you've got to love a good Holocaust joke. I mean, people on the internet at this very moment in time are calling this young lady a whore and calling iDubbbz a simp by simply allowing her to do whatever it is that she wants with her body. So there are a lot of things that I personally had to take into consideration. However, I am very much aware that I have a very supportive family, and I am one of the lucky people in this situation. So it led me to think about people who may not be so lucky, because honestly, making the decision to start an OnlyFans account could literally be the reason that some family members decide not to speak to you. I mean, I know how I feel about people who choose to do adult work. In my head, I'm like, if you got it, flaunt it, and if you want to make money from it, then do you, boo-boo. But there is a lot of people who do not feel the same. When I made my announcement that I was going to be doing some adult content on OnlyFans.com, it was was received very well, however the minority of people did have something to say. There was a lot of questions. You're a mother, this is disgusting, oh my god, I feel bad for your child. As well as, you can tell yourself all day that this is liberating, but it isn't, it's disgusting and you're only doing things for male gratification. And it honestly made me think very long and hard about the adult industry's role in feminism. For me, taking ownership of my body was something that was extremely important. For so many moments in my life, my body was not my own. For so many moments of my life, my body was only ever used for the gratification of other people besides myself. In my life, I've learned how to please the opposite sex before learning how to even please myself, or even how to please myself. And that's not just a story from my own personal existence. There are so many other women who echo that same phrase, that it took them a long time to hit that first O, or that they have had long-lasting relationships with men who simply haven't been able to please them. And to be honest, women's experiences with sexual pleasure and have honestly, in fact, no. Female sexuality in general remains pretty much mystified and downplayed in general. Male sexuality is out in the open and is more accepted to a greater extent, while female sexuality kind of remains, in many respects, a taboo and interrelated with gender-based biases in our culture. It seems to me that many people don't really understand female sexuality, especially with how it's being portrayed in pornography. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out which ladies are faking it. But yeah, in a national survey conducted by Huffington Post, you would be surprised at some of the answers that men have been given, from being surprised that women's breasts that were natural were not perfectly round, to even going as far as not really understanding that you need consent before ramming your phallic object down somebody else's throat. In all of those moments, including my own, these women's bodies were used for the gratification of another human being besides themselves. So for me personally, I find this whole situation liberating. It's me taking my sexuality back. There was a moment in my life that my body was no longer my own. When I gave birth to my daughter, my body was the vessel of bringing another life into this universe. And throughout that entire pregnancy, my body was definitely not my own. And after having a child, it actually became extremely difficult for me to see myself as a sexual being. I personally wasn't surprised by some of the criticism it was that I received when going public, but I was surprised at the hypocrisy. Some of the same people who were thinking that this was a disgusting thing for me to do are pretty much the same people who had absolutely no problems with any of my other prior choices. I didn't know previous to doing YouTube, my other outside of work job was plus size modeling. I'd modeled for quite some time, for a few years, for quite a lot of companies, including lingerie shoots. I'd also done tasteful nude shots, as well as topless. You name it, I've done it. My body has been made for print and copy on several different occasions. In fact, several people have profited from my body. Now, when these times in my life happened, it wasn't seen as lewd or disgusting, but the moment that I put the camera in my own hands, all of a sudden there seems to be a problem.
For hundreds of years, men have been painting, sculpting, and photographing women, and the second you put a camera in her hand, it becomes vain. Because people are uncomfortable when you say, I feel beautiful.
I mean, some of the photos that I've posted up on my social medias to do with my OnlyFans are actually no different to any photos that you'd see from any Instagram baddie on Instagram. However, it was viewed with dismay because attached to that photograph was a link to an OnlyFans page. So considering that people don't actually find out or understand about from sexual education classes, or even that being an important part of the curriculum within schools, it's kind of left up to everybody's individual parents to be able to tell them about sexuality, and even that's not happening in every single household. So we're left with an entire society who actually have no idea about the female anatomy.
The vagina is the birth canal only. You want to talk about the vulva, which is the and the inner lips and all that good shit around it.
The vagina is only the birth canal? Oh, see, I'm getting an anatomy lesson that I didn't. I thought the vagina was the whole...
No.
But unfortunately, in this situation, Gwyneth isn't the only person who actually doesn't know what the vagina is. A YouGov survey conducted in 2019 basically said that 59% of men and half of women could not even label the vagina. Then we have 61% of men and 55% of women who couldn't even label the urethra, and around half of both genders failed to label the yeah, which is 52% of men and 43% of women. We literally don't even know our own fucking bodies. So with this vast lack of education, people are looking to educate themselves in other ways, and one of those ways is according to data gathered by the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, labiaplasty surgeries have actually increased by 45% worldwide between the years of 2015 and 2016, and that patients as young as 9 years old have been asking for that surgery. Little boys and little girls do not understand that genitals come in all different shapes and sizes, and little girls are trying to emulate what they see in pornography. So we cannot undermine the impact that pornography has on society as a whole. From dirty magazines like Jugs, Playboy and Hustler, there is no denying that the female body has always been an object of desire. And with the adult entertainment industry crumbling at their knees due to tube sites making fast pornography and giving access to amateurs to be able to make and create their own content, this allows the once actresses to stop putting their money in the hands of companies profiting off their image tenfold and 10 times over and put the money directly into their pocket, where it belongs. So I decided to speak to somebody in my life who I kind of felt was never going to be accepting of this. My mother loves me like no one else. However, my mom has a strong opinion, and when she feels some kind of way, she feels some kind of way. But this discussion between daughter and mother was actually quite touching, if I'm perfectly honest, because somewhere down the line, I feel like we kind of were able to understand one another. Now, I understand that there is a lot of people who aren't as lucky as I am to have as many supportive people. So I will be delving into people's support networks a little bit later after this interview. But take a look at mine and my mother's conversation in regards to me taking this step into OnlyFans. Hey guys, what's Gucci? It is your girl Petty Paige back at it again with yet another video for you guys. Okay, so you guys know that there is a lot that goes into making an OnlyFans account besides showing you bits and bobs. There are loads of different pitfalls that people need to look out for, and one of the biggest things was basically coming out to my family about this kind of stuff, because a lot of them don't know about how I feel about sex work, and it's something that needs to be taken into consideration because not everybody's family is going to be okay with it. So I am going to be ringing my mother and I'm going to be documenting it. I know for a fact how my mum's thoughts and feelings are going to be about this, so let's get into it. Hi, can you hear me?
Why are you ringing me on Skype instead of WhatsApp?
Because I've got something to tell you. We need to have a discussion.
What?
We need to have a discussion. So
About what? What are we talking about?
okay, right. So, you know that I've been saying on Twitter and social media and everything like that I am going to be conducting kind of like a social experiment. I wanted to start doing long form videos and just taking things in a different direction. Well, basically, what I'm trying to do is have a look at the new phenomena which is kind of taken over social media, which is OnlyFans. It seems as if every celebrity, every Instagrammer, every YouTuber, every Twitch user, everything is using OnlyFans right now. So
Your Paytas does.
yeah, like Trisha Paytas basically. I think she's the queen of YouTube OnlyFans at this present moment in time. So basically what I wanted to do was to take a delve into OnlyFans on my side of things and see how it works, because so many people make videos about how to make money on there, but nobody actually talks about how much money they can make, and is it accessible, is it easy? A lot of people see it as an easy way out for a lot of influencers and stuff. So
No. Before you even start, I know what you're going to say, and please, no.
So, as part of this discussion, mother, dearest, as part of this discussion, I too have created an OnlyFans account. And I'm selling nudes. However, here's my thing.
It's not even fucking funny. It isn't.
It's not a joke, I'm being deadly serious.
Why?
Why? Because nobody knows this world of OnlyFans. Because I wanted to show various different pitfalls of OnlyFans that people don't actually discuss, which is family, friends, people of interest within your personal life, all those kind of things that people don't necessarily look into, people don't necessarily discuss. It's kind of like, join an OnlyFans, oh, it'll be great, everyone will love it, bye. And it's like, but there are other implications that need to be discussed, regardless of whether you believe it or not. So here's me discussing those implications, because I know what you think.
Hold on.
Okay.
You've actually put nudes out there, please.
Mm-hmm.
You've actually done that.
Mm-hmm.
Paige,
Tell me your thoughts.
not happy.
Okay, can I ask you some questions, Sam?
Let me tell you why I'm not happy, right?
Okay, I'm here to listen.
Right. I know you're an adult. I know you can make your own choices. I know all that
Sure
blah,
can.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right. As a mother,
Mm-hmm.
and the age group that I am,
Yeah.
right, I still find that kind of stuff a bit degrading,
Okay.
humiliating.
Okay.
I don't like the fact that, I wouldn't like the fact, I pray for the fact that your nephew doesn't go and see that. Do you remember?
Well, we know he launches a lot of that we do know.
But I don't want any. Do you remember when we found out that your cousin was doing?
But you were affected by that. I won't bother at all.
No, you weren't affected, but I found it hard because when you
Is it because, and here's just a follow-up question, is it because you've seen her grow up, you've seen her from a little tinker right the way through to an adult, and seeing her in a sexual sense is a hard thing for you to grasp?
But she's my blood,
Yeah.
right? And I don't want to see anything that's bad or derogatory of her, because regardless of whether I
Okay, so why is it bad and derogatory or degrading to you?
Okay.
I want your honest, raw, real response. I don't want you to try and be politically correct, to try and not hurt my feelings, because I want people to see everything.
All right. If you, I really, with me, right? I love you. I know how intelligent you are. I know how creative you are. I know what you can do with your life. I know I love every part of you, and I'm not taking away from your sexuality, which I didn't understand, right? Or any of that.
Me being bisexual.
Paige, do whatever you want to do,
Okay.
right? But I think it's selling yourself short and your potential for the future short by lumping yourself together with people that I see, I'm being honest, as damaged. I look at people like Trisha Paytas and I understand why she does that, because she's damaged. In my point, you asked me
No. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
It's damaged, right?
Okay.
They have no self-respect for themselves and no care for themselves. So it doesn't matter if other people view them a certain way, right? Paige, I don't see you as that. So I cannot see why you would want to do that. I can't see why you would want to do that.
Okay.
These are not people to emanate. These are people...
Okay, so I don't necessarily see it as people who are damaged. I think that's a gross over generalization of that. For me, I'm just talking from.
Give you some facts as somebody that works with women that are damaged, right? Domestic abuse, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people, not all, but a lot of people that are in the sex industry have either been victims of abuse, right, or victims of people that have low self-esteem, low self-respect, right? Because you don't. Not that I would look down on them, because I feel that everybody needs help. Do you know what I mean? And everybody needs their self-esteem building. But Paige, you're supposed to. I thought, all right, let's get brutal. I thought you were strong, right? But you allowed stupid impact to impact you and doubt who you were as an individual, right? So I know you're not as strong as I thought you were, right? And for you to do this now just makes me think, well, is it impacting her even more than I thought it was impact? Because I know it ain't for the money, because you're doing okay. So I don't understand. And I'm going to be selfish here. I don't want my work colleagues. I don't want my friends. I don't want my family. I don't want people that I know to think bad of you, because they don't understand.
But you don't understand.
Huh?
You don't understand that.
Your brother will be devastated. I'm telling you now, top and bottom, your brother's going to be devastated.
Okay.
Right? So, why would you need to do that? See, now I'm set. Why do you need to do that?
When I was back in my modelling days, we remember them. I've done lingerie, I've done topless, I've done nude, artistic nude, all that kind of stuff, right? There are various different photographs of me on the internet. Some have been used for profit, some which were like portfolio building, all that kind of stuff, yeah? My body's already been out there, right? And it's already been...
There's a way. I don't know.
It's already been for profit, mother. There have already been people who have made money off my image, to the point that even in my modelling days, I still to this day, should I want to post these pictures, should I want to do anything, the copyright of the pictures of my image aren't even mine. I have to go either to the PR company that's involved or to the photographer themselves in order for me to get permission to post my own image. People have been profiting off my body for the longest time. And images of my breasts are already out there. Images, Mum, I posed topless for my bloody pregnancy shoot. Like, I am fine with my body.
But now you say that makes me feel a little bit hypocritical, but that seemed all right.
Mum, it's okay for you to feel, Mum, it is completely okay for you to feel hypocritical, because you're my mum, and I get that 100%. You're more than fine to be hypocritical, to feel one way about one thing and completely different about the other, because I'm your baby, and I get that completely. I'm just saying that my image is already out there. People have already profited off me, profited off my body, profited off in a completely different way. I would walk away with £100, £200 for a shoot. They'd walk away for thousands. Do you understand what I mean? It is, I get it, right? But I kind of feel like there seems to be this turn that when a woman is liberated, it has to be within the confines of her own home and nobody else is supposed to see it. From me starting this OnlyFans, one of the consistent commentaries that I've been getting over and over again is A, your daughter's going to know about this at some point, blah, 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 blah. And B, what does your husband think? What does your family think? All that kind of stuff. But I kind of feel like the two are completely separate. And the reason...
That's anything you did anyway, he loves you to death. He's just going to support you in whatever you want to do.
Well, actually, Gaz was one of the people who was like, do you know what? If you... Because I was talking about it for a long, long time. Yeah, I've been posting about it on social media and all this kind of stuff because it's an area that I've always wanted to go into. Do you get what I mean? And because I've spoke to my husband about it, he's just like, he in his head was like, not just do it now. Start today.
Why? Going to go. Why?
Why? Can I tell you something as in it? Okay. Can I tell you something though, as an individual taking photographs of myself, photographs of myself has been absolutely liberating in a way that I will never be able to explain to you. The moment that I became a mother, right, my perception of myself changed. I was no longer feeling sexual. The weight loss compiled with losing all that weight on my belly from the baby and having this saggy ass stomach and saggy ass boobs and saggy ass everything was hard, you know, because my body was changing before my eyes and I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that it looked. And all that self-love that I built in myself in my fatter years is completely gone. I became a shell of a woman. My husband would touch me and I wouldn't want to be touched. Do you understand what I mean? And finding that sexuality again was so important for me. And now that I've found that sexuality again, I'm like, okay, I am woman. I'm allowed to feel great. Look at these boobs, look at this ass, I'm amazing. Do you understand what I mean? Like, now I feel sexually, if I didn't share that with the universe, if I didn't share me with the universe, then I would not feel the way that I do today, which is, I feel f***ing amazing.
And that's a joke. I would never look down on somebody for doing sex work at all. I do, but...
It's like, it's that mentality of, not my pitney though.
It's like, I love all black people, but don't marry them. Not in our family.
That's what it's like though. And do you hear that when it's said though?
I don't give a shit about what other people think about me, but I will care what they think about you.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Now, here's the kicker. You ready for this? So, in the past 4 months, I don't know how long it's been now, since my whole debacle after Houston, yeah, people on the internet have called me all the names under the sun, including an anti-Semite and a racist, right? 2 things that we know that I'm not, okay? But those 2 things have been thrown at me. There are places, you search my name, those are the 2 taglines that come up. Anti-Semite, racist, and a hacker, apparently. But anti-Semite and a racist, right? And two of the things that when you search my name come up in the search, right? People who you know could easily search me and find anti-Semite, racist. So is it worse for me to look like an anti-Semite racist, or is it worse for me to be a sex worker?
So wait a minute.
Because the implications of me being a sex worker is actually more stronger for you than anything anyone's ever said about me on the internet.
That's a bloody lie. And it shouldn't have been even repeated because it was stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah,
Biggest way to shut anyone down, black or white, is to call them an anti-Semite. It's vile when people do that. Mm-hmm. The biggest way to shut someone else down when they're white is to call, or non-black, is to call them a racist, which is also vile.
But the point of the matter is that those are things that have been said about me. Those are things that you can search on the internet and find. So why is it worse to search on the internet and find, oh, Paige does sex work also? Think about the Dove campaigns that you've seen on TV, social media, all that kind of stuff. 15 different women of all shapes and sizes, all colours, all creeds, able, differently able, disabled, whatever, right? All an array of beautiful different women naked for a photo shoot. Why is that okay?
It's empowering, yeah.
And empowering to women, and we sit there and go, yes, girl, yes, you better work. But then when a woman takes a camera and puts that in her own hands and says, I'm beautiful, is that disgrace? You're disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. What's your family going to think?
Right. I don't think you're disgraced, and I don't think you're
No, I'm just talking about everyone.
How how people are going to view you. But do you know what? Perhaps you're right. Fuck them. Fuck how they see you. Does it mean it still doesn't make me feel slightly uncomfortable? I ain't going to lie to you, Paige.
Yeah.
That's going to make me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If it's what you want to do, fuck them. My only thing is, I don't want it to impact the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're a child. I am not prudish. I'm not worried about my body or anything like that. So I am the first to understand that. Do you know what I mean? But yet I'm hypocritical in a way that, like, when it's out, what's the difference? I don't know, but it's just the way I feel. And I'm a hypocrite in the way that I feel, but it is the way I feel.
And that's fine. Well, mommy, and that is completely fine. You are completely fine to be a hypocrite in this moment. You are completely fine to feel that way because I am your baby. It's when I think about it in a different perspective of how I'd feel if it was Fion, I feel like because I'm a separate generation, that to me I would be like very much Kris Jenner, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Like I'd be laying her hair, I'd be like, what's that? Let me get that curl. Yes, you better work. Like I know that's how I'll be.
Because I'm a different generation. Whereas I accept one thing easily, no problems, no ifs, no buts. And I'll accept another thing, then I still worry about the perceptions, the impacts.
So public perception for you is your biggest hindrance when it comes to me doing OnlyFans?
In fact, it probably is the only. Oh God, that's bad, isn't it?
That's the world we live in.
Is that bad?
It's not bad, Mum. You're my mom. You love me. You care about me. It's always different when it's your own child, and I get it 100%. But I just want you to know that I am a conscious individual, yeah? I'm 28 years old. I'm very, very smart, yeah? And I wanted to document this process, not only because it's something that I've always wanted to go into, but I'll also, if I can even just provide any help for people who are genuinely thinking of going into this line of sex work, then how's the right way to do it? How do you do it safe? How do you grow? How do you think about all of the implications? Because a lot of people don't think about them. They go into it and then they go, I regret. If you're going to do it, I want you to go into it and have no regrets and be the fearless queen that you are supposed to be. Okay. And showing my body has made me appreciate myself and love myself more. And it's not from outside validation. It's not from other people validating my body, because I don't care. My husband is the only person who needs to love my body, but it's from validating myself. It's from me sitting there and saying, you look great. There is nothing wrong with the way that you look. You are sexy, and there is nothing wrong with you being sexy. You are a mother, and you have been through so goddamn much. And do you know what? You have one body, one vessel, and you live in that bitch. Live in it.
Do you know what? I love you. I do love you.
I love you too, my mum.
You go, girl. You go. You go. Sorry. You go.
Don't make me cry, mama. I just know that there are loads of damaging ways to deal with things, and if you're gonna make decisions like this, it has to be from the right place. And if you come at it from a place of desperation for money, which is not my financial situation right now, do you get what I mean? If you come at it from a place of get rich quick, this ain't the shit to do to get rich quick, sis. It takes a grind. Do you understand what I mean? If you come at it from a place of anything, but if you come at it a place of an entrepreneur, as a person who's like, okay, I want financial freedom, and a person who actually sits there and goes, okay, I am sexually liberated and I want the world to know that I love me too. Do you get what I mean? Then sex work is most definitely no better or less than doing YouTube. Thank you so much for having a chat with me, impromptu, and doing this little bit of an interview with me. Thank you so much, and I shall speak to you soon. I love you. Right, okay, so I've got my husband here who's going to be asking me a few questions. Now, a lot of you guys left me a bunch of different questions, a lot to actually really consider for today's video. So I wanted to go through the most important questions that I could see in the comment section and go through them one by one and give my thoughts and opinions. Once again, I would just like to stress that thoughts and opinions are not facts, and there is a lot to consider, and I wanted this episode to be more about considering the implications of starting an OnlyFans. The implications of starting an OnlyFans do not just span just to you. There are various different areas of your personal life that needs to be considered before opening yourself up to the entire world in this way. Me, I have no fucking shame, as you can tell. So my husband's going to be asking me some of the most important questions from the comment section of part 1, so let's get straight into it.
So I'm confused. Is it only possible / worth it if you already have a fan base on other platforms, etc.? Or can anyone start a page and grow it? Massive props to you for having confidence and courage to put yourself out there. Much love. Okay,
so I thought I made it clear in the last video, but clearly I didn't, because this was a reoccurring question. A lot of people were like, well, it's different for you because you have a fan base. Now, in most circumstances, I would have probably agreed with you. In my head, maybe my arrogance led me to believe that I was going to have a lot of people who would sign up purely because they were Paige fans, they'd like the channel, all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. After my initial launch, when I told people about it on my Twitter, I had about 6 people go and follow me that day. After that point, nobody tipped, nobody messaged, and it was literally the odd follow after that point. So in terms of it being something that you need a fan base for, it was clear to me just from the first week that didn't necessarily go so well that it wasn't people who followed me who were purchasing in, buying, tipping, and all of those other good things that come with having an OnlyFans account. So it's a little bit of a different situation because after the first 6 people who joined, it went dead for an entire week. And then it was only when I started implementing some of the stuff that I was taught from Marissa Frost that things started working for me, that the ball started rolling. So it wasn't easy street for me because I had to go the same route as any other person who was starting an OnlyFans account in order to make it lucrative. My male counterparts, for instance, Dustin Daly or Nick Snyder, have not had to use these avenues. They've not had to use Telegram, they've not had to do shout for shouts, they've not had to do any drops. So things were considerably harder for me than it was for them. I think it's because our fan bases kind of reflect each other, which is predominantly either gay men or women. And although there's a lot of bisexual ladies and pansexual ladies and people of other sexualities who may find me attractive, they're just not buying into it. Not in the same way that the gay community supports gay men in the sex industry. And then on the flip side, you may have somebody else who is, say, like a Twitch titty streamer or whatever, who will have a predominantly male fan base who could start an OnlyFans and absolutely skyrocket purely because the males were already there. I'm not somebody who had that fan base. So it's kind of hard to compare the two because in my head I'm thinking to myself, we're not the same, it's not equal, because I did not skyrocket. It just went and then it stopped. And then I had to really work to make it going. So I do believe that it is definitely something that anybody can do because I needed to work to make this happen. It was not easy street, not by any means. And I also wanted to highlight a message from somebody that I actually got after my first original video. Basically, they said, I have enjoyed your videos for quite some time now, but most recently, seeing as how you posted like 2 days ago, your OnlyFans video actually got me quite curious. So I went ahead and decided to start my own account. Since I've had a bunch of people specifically ask that I do so already. I've only been on the platform for 1 day and I'm already in the 35% aisle, growing a lot faster than I expected. By any means when I started out. I expect to dip soon, but even with that in mind, I'm surpassing my expectations by a long shot. For context, I don't really have any sort of big social media following, nor am I really trying to get one, to be honest, lol. So any following that I have on there right now is strictly from personal friends / peers. So this is an individual who literally has just started an OnlyFans within the past 2 days since my last video, and in that time they have been able to get themselves in the top 35% of OnlyFans. So that proves to me at least that the average person can go out of their way and make money on OnlyFans. It is possible, you just have to put the work in, sis.
I feel like a lot more ladies would do this kind of thing if there wasn't a stigma around it, and there's a risk of not getting a different job in the future because potential employers will not hire you. But if you're making good money, then you're sorted.
That is the biggest question. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that every single employer after this point, should you have decided to make your OnlyFans account, is going to 100% be on board with it. There are people who don't agree with that. I think definitely if you're a person who's looking to work in education, childcare, anything of that nature dealing with young, specifically people dealing with young vulnerable people, it becomes a little bit more difficult and a little bit more of a dicey game to play. Will that change in the future? Possibly, but I just don't know. So I would definitely be wary if you're a person who's going into university to become a teacher and you're thinking, I just want to make a few coins now before, I get into doing that work full time. It's definitely something that you need to think about and something that you need to put into perspective, because some people are cool, some places will be cool, but not everybody is going to be cool because the times are changing, but how fast they're going to change is a whole different question.
This was so interesting to me. It's something I've thought about because I'm curvy and have pretty huge boobs. So I've literally been asked to do that kind of shit since I was 15.
So this leads me into the next section of things, but what I will say is it is not uncommon. This is definitely a common theme in the comment section as well as on my other social medias like Twitter and stuff, where people have explained that they have been sexualized in their lives. Because one of the things that people seem to have an issue with is that they say, well, how is it liberating if it's for the gaze of the male sexual gratification? Predominantly, let's say. And whilst I understand where people's viewpoint comes from, I kind of am of the notion that regardless of what it is that you do as a woman in this world, unfortunately we will be sexualized whether we like it or not. For instance, me and my husband were discussing various different kinds of sexualization that we've seen within pornography for quite some time. My husband cited a video that he'd seen on tube site where it was some random guy in our local area who had been following around a woman in a local market just filming her ass. This was a woman who unknowingly was sexualized and then put on a pornography platform. She did not ask to be sexualized. She was going about her daily tasks and some guy sexualized her. Another video I've seen a video where a guy goes over to a massage parlor. He sets up the camera, he makes it super duper inconspicuous, puts a bunch of clothing around it so the lens couldn't be seen, and whilst this woman was professionally doing her job, he exploded, let's say. And a damn good professional woman that she was, she just said it's okay and decided to clean him up so that she could send him on his way. I actually think that the masseuse felt sorry for the guy and probably felt that he was embarrassed so that she was going to make things less embarrassing for him. Because sometimes the human body does things that are involuntary and there is nothing that people can do about it. She was really good at her job that day. However, she had no idea about his sinister intentions, and that video is now up on the internet for the world to see. She was without realizing that she was being sexualized. Another situation that my husband drew attention to, something that I never even knew existed, was that there is a subsection, a subgenre of online, women within the Muslim faith who are covered from head to toe with nothing showing but their eyes, and there are men drawing outlines of what they think their body should look like underneath the clothes and following them around and trying to get still shots and still images of the curves of their body. That is a fetish in of itself, and these women are being sexualized whilst being covered from head to toe. So when you put these things into perspective, I mean, unsolicited peen pictures is a whole thing that women have to deal with from the moment they wake up until the end of the night. So I went and I did a couple of polls on Twitter to ask these questions, and this is what people had to say. The first question was, have you ever been sent an inbox message on any platform asking for either nudes or some kind of or for somebody to be your sugar mama / daddy? We had 59% of people who said yes and 41% of people who said no. Have you ever been online without your consent? Example, hey sexy, you have a great set of I'd like to ... We have 74% of people who said yes and 26% of people who said no. Have you ever been made to feel that your body was for the sexual gratification of somebody else besides yourself? This includes being fetishized by somebody for having specific attributes. 73% of people said yes and 27% of people said no. And the final question is, has a family member, friend or significant other had to be made to feel ashamed about your appearance in any way, regardless of whether they stuck up for you? 76% of people said yes and 24% of people said no. I honestly think that these statistics speak for themselves, but at the same time, obviously we have to take into the equation that this is not a formal survey, and obviously it will be from my personal subscriber base, which is a lot of people who may share the same opinion as me. But with that being said, I think it's quite evident that a lot of people have been sexualized without their consent. So there you have it. There are so many different things that need to be considered when making an OnlyFans account. I feel like it's really important for us to all to realise that it's not just about us, that when we make decisions, they can have impact and implications on other people outside of us. Luckily for me, I have an extremely supportive family, and the people who are within my inner circle are definitely people who are going to love me regardless and are never going to judge me any differently for any of the decisions that I make. But I am one of the lucky ones, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who may not be so lucky. So all I have to say is, regardless of anything, when making a decision to join OnlyFans, please make it be for the right decisions. And even if you find a supportive network within the adult content community, when you turn off your devices, when you switch off your laptop, when you plug out your iPad, when you sit down and it's just you, yourself, all alone, who do you have fighting your corner then? Because that is just as important. And I kind of feel like those real life relationships with other people in your life should definitely be put before any kind of money. Anyway, that's about it. If you like this kind of content, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, as well as hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell so that you're down with the petty gang. So I'm hoping that you guys will join me on the next chapter of this journey. A lot of people have been giving me more suggestions of what other areas of the internet they would like me to do this kind of immersive drama on, where I kind of really involve myself in the communities of which it is that I speak about. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. We've had suggestions like the Dungeons and Dragons community, the furry community. So if you have any kinds of suggestions like that, don't forget to leave it in the comment section down below. Anyway, that is about it from me. Have an amazing day or evening, whatever the hell it is that you're doing. And until next time, it's been Paige.